Guys, welcome to my second tutorial. I'm making boho pillows. I'm very excited about this tutorial. I really love the outcome. Just a few tips around the tutorial. I didn't show how you attach the tassels. You attach them the same way as you attach the pom-poms. For the fringe, I only showed you the first, this black fringe here, I only showed you the first stitch, but you do it like along the edge of the fringe. And then also oh yeah, the pom-poms, ne? My pillow had pom-poms around all four edges, but some pillows have zips at the bottom. Mine had one at the back. So if you have a pillow that has a zip at the bottom, it shouldn't be a problem as long as you don't disturb the stitch and the zip. Otherwise you can leave it and just have on the three edges, especially if it's sitting on a couch. Yeah, so the pillows cost 85 Rand for the pom-pom one, 135 for the second one. For me it cost less because I had yarn already. If you're upgrading old pillows, it should also cost less. So it's a really fun tutorial to also upgrade old pillowcases or plain pillowcases. Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoy. If there's something you'd like me to make that you think would cost under 100 Rand, send me a DM on Instagram at diraityourself or comment below. But I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks, bye. Hi guys, so here we're making the pom-poms. For the pom-pom pillow, you're just going to wrap the yarn around a fork around 80 times. It will depend on the thickness of your yarn, but you'll gauge what works well. And here in the next step, you're just going to put the string in the middle piece of the fork, and then you're going to tie it really tight. Okay, for this part, you're just using that string that you pull through the fork and you're tying it around the wrapped yarn, and then you're going to pull it off of the fork, and now you're just going to tighten it even more to create almost like a flat pancake shape. And I tied it on each side just to make sure that it's secure and tight, to almost create like a singed waist, if you can call it that. And then you're going to leave this extra string hanging because you're going to need it to attach your pom-pom to the pillow. Then you're going to use your scissors to cut on each edge of the side of the pom-pom, and that's what creates the fluffiness of the pom-pom. And just make sure that you cut out all the strings that were wrapped. Yeah, you're just gonna fluff it out like that, and then start cutting around the pom-pom. But here we're just snipping the pom-pom on each end, and you'll end up getting like a ball like this, and you'll just snip around the ball as I'm doing here. You want to make sure you cut as much as you can so that it's level, and it makes the pom-pom very fluffy. Don't be afraid to snip, but don't snip too close to the center, otherwise you won't have a pom-pom left. Okay, in the next step, you're just going to align the pom-poms along the edge. Then you're going to mark accordingly. And then here you're just going to pull the yarn through the center, through a needle. My needle was plastic, but it worked through this material very, very well. So it depends on your material. And you're just going to tie the end of the pom-pom. I tied it 3 times. Just pull a bit tight so that your pom-pom doesn't dangle when you are done. And then you're just going to do a final knot here at the end to just secure, and you're going to just cut off the end. Okay, now onto our second pillow. This was an experiment for me, but I'm just showing you here how to sew in the yarn into the pillow. This pillow's material, like I said earlier, is very thin, and it allows like you to pull through or to sew in quite easily, even with a thick yarn. You're just going to like stagger your stitches. You're going to make like a long one and then a short one. You just do what you want. As you can see, I staggered the line, so the first line was started at the edge and then the second one in the middle of the first, and now this one starting in like the middle of the kind of the middle of the first one. So you can see, just stagger your edges, have fun with it. If you want to draw proper lines, you may, whatever works for you. And then when you stitch, when you do your second stitch, you'll see now, when you go back in for your second stitch, try put it as close as possible to the previous one, but not too close that you'll pull out the yarn. Yeah, and leave it to be a bit puffy here and there, and so that it's interesting and has a bit of texture, you know. Then you're just gonna tie off the end, and then here I was just showing, if you make a mistake, this material is very easy to like close the hole. Okay, here we're making the tassels for the edge. You're gonna wrap it around 80 times, similarly with the pom-poms. I found that wrapping it around 80 times made the tassels a bit too thick. So if you want thinner tassels, maybe wrap around 50 times instead of 80 times. And then here you're just pulling your string through the one end, and you're just going to tie. This will be the end that you'll attach to the corner of the pillow. You can tie in a few knots to make it secure. Okay, and then now you're going to try and go back in and use your scissors to cut the other end of the wrapped tassel. I struggled a bit here to find it, but you eventually do. You can also use your scissors to help you find, then you'll just snip. Okay, now you're going to use another piece of yarn to wrap around like half a centimeter away from the top piece, and you can wrap as many times as you need, as many times as you see makes it look like a tassel for you. I think I wrapped here around 10 times, if I'm not wrong. I was a bit tired by the time I was making the second pillow, but you know. Then you're just gonna tie it to the edge of to the start of this yarn. I don't know if I'm explaining this properly, but yeah. Cool. And now you're going to snip off. You can snip off those strangly ends. I just tuck them in. And now you're going to snip off the bottom to make it as level as possible. Boho style is very rugged and handmade, and so things don't have to be perfect if you doing like a boho style. So don't worry about perfection. And now we're going to make the tassel or the fringe, the black fringe on the second pillow. And here I was already at the end of the tassel, but I was wrapping around one piece of string, like a lot of other pieces of string. So I cut them around maybe 20 centimeters and then folded them in half. Depending on how long you want the fringe to be, you'll do that. So you just make this knot and make sure you pull quite tight, so that it doesn't slip off. Okay, and now we're going to attach the fringe. This was a bit difficult for me, guys. I won't even lie to you. Sure, this wasn't an easy part of the task. Maybe because I was using the black yarn. So maybe if you have like a thinner thread and a thinner needle, you'll be able to attach it properly. But just make sure it's aligned to the previous line. Or it can be rough, whichever way you want. Like I said, guys, have fun. Maybe Google other patterns that you would prefer that match your home, and just see what works for you, what works with your existing style in your home. And here I was just tying off the end of it, and then finally I'm going to cut the fringe. So we went from this to that. I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks so much for joining.